We are just testing out some technical, it was completely my fault. Late to the party today. Just got back in from California, met some friends for SNIC, and I'm happy to be here. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you for joining us. I think we're most excited, not only about coming to you live again from this beautiful studio where I'm hungry, I want to eat something, but we are including our special call to action for the beginning of the year, which is a thing we are most proud of. I am, and my team I know is as well, is, you know, we love writing recipes for you that work, and we love innovating with you. We love celebrating you and catching you doing something good. And this year we will bring all of those things to you. We will have an admin roundup. We will have our menus that will get you thinking about fun themes for the upcoming winter doldrums. You know, people say February is dark, but it doesn't have to be. We have some very light, fun menu celebrations to get your brains going on some theme days. And then, of course, you know, we got to keep it real. So we are going to be keeping up with our KPI. A kind of a little bit of a call to action, just so that we are midpoint of the year, right? So we say Happy New Year to you and yours, but we know we're halfway through this. And so some of you already have the countdown to the last day of school. And I know you, Shelly Schoonover at Hudson High School does, for sure. I saw that on her board. But what I'm most excited about is what we're doing today with our mystery chef announcement. Okay, so if you were with us last month, we talked a little bit about our desire to launch our cookbook, which is here. We are ready to fulfill orders for cookbooks coming up in the next month. We had some surprise winners that we announced in our Days of Giving in December. And from our lens to yours, one of the things that I'm most excited about is what's in the future for that cookbook. And that is having some of you obviously featured in it, because this mystery chef isn't just something fun to do. It is ultimately to have your peers help us craft recipes that we all can share. So again, we say we are not competitive restaurants at all, and we love and are inspired by all of you. And so this launch today is going to be our series of inviting you in to be co-chefs at our kitchens and in our beautiful studios. Thanks to our partners, we have you know, I know she's probably not going to want to come on camera, but Holly McGarry and Keith Amos, you all know them very well, have welcomed us into their home, which just does feel very homey to me, to bring this first meeting to you. So without further ado, I think we're settled on technical stuff, I hope. And the agenda is going to flow very similar to what it has done in the past. So as you advance to the next slide, we are going to show you the admin roundup first. With our Gina Nash. She's subbing in for Sarah today, who's got a little bit of a cough. So Gina will be helping us with all things admin. We will have Marge Robeson come to you. You know, if you don't know Marge, it's because she's Oz behind the support at PPLC. So you're going to get to see her. We have all the fam in the kitchen today. And then, of course, my favorite part, getting you caught up with doing something good, both for the new clients that we are celebrating and some of the new tools we're calling back your attention to relative to your key performance indicators. And we will wrap up today, you don't want to miss it, announcing which one of you have been welcomed into our mystery chef competition. And so we will talk about who's going to be doing that and also the contents by the end of today. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Gina for admin.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. We just wanted to touch base with the new year, making sure everybody's compliant, switching over all of your temp logs, making sure that you have taken down December, put up January, and they should be on all of your things that need to be temped: refrigerators, freezers, milk coolers, holding items, and then also make sure that your thermometers are calibrated and in working order. The SCA funding is going to be coming soon. We don't know much more about that other than it's in the process of being done. And make sure that you have your on-site accountability done by February 1st. Even if you don't have a review this year, you have to make sure that that's done, because it is something that they'll check on to make sure you had it in previous years. And let's see, why wait till you have your audit to be compliant? Let's start the year off on the right foot. Set your intentions, get your monthly, weekly, and daily, weekly, and monthly checklists done. And if you need any help, be sure to reach out to somebody at Masonic Partners and we can help you get that done. And here's a sample of what a checklist could look like. And again, if you want to copy that, or if you have some special needs that you want us to help you with, we can do that for you. Okay, and now I'm going to pass it on over to Marge.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. We love being in this studio here, and it lends itself to some exciting recipes that we want to share. I would love to make some of these in this beautiful kitchen. So as we think about some theme days coming up, February 2nd is National Tater Tot Day. And tots really lend themselves to, I think, a lot of bar concept ideas. And so we will put this document that we have here with some different ideas for ways to highlight tots with different toppings, maybe as a bar concept. Remember, if you would like us to add these to your menus, please just tell us what items you would like on your bar concept for the tots. And we can put that on your menu with a notation that you're celebrating National Tot Day, very comfort food for February. Another thing coming up is National Homemade Soup Day. So we've gotten a lot of emails, questions about what kind of soups can I put on my menu? And I know people are always hesitant to do homemade soups. This would be a good opportunity to try a homemade soup. We have lots of recipes we've talked about on our What's Up Wednesday and have shared with people. So if there's a soup that you're interested in that you might want to make homemade, this is a great day to do that on February 4th. Just ask us for those recipes. But I also want to take a moment for those of you that use Healthy Meal Planner Pro. Don't forget about the great resource that's in there that has global recipes available. And what I mean by that is if you're not familiar with looking for global recipes in Healthy Pro, what you can do is just go to that recipes tab at the top. And then when you search the recipe type, if you put in global recipes, in this instance, I put soup, and they literally have about 60 different soup recipes there. Now, those global recipes can't go directly on your menu. They kind of work as a template. So if you tell us that you want one of those global recipe numbers on your menu, we can always add that. Put in the specific GFS codes pertinent to you. And that's just a great tool for not just soup, but other recipes too that you might be looking for. So keeping that in mind. Love all this red on the slide for February 14th for Valentine's Day. This is just a lot of steal those ideas. So I love the one I saw with corn dogs, just cut and the stick used to put them together in a different way to make a heart. Certainly don't forget about the local Dogo's cookies. I thought it was really cute, these strawberries and the waffle cone. I know GFS, I looked, has some really simple sugar cones, cake cones, that are like 7 or 9 cents each. That would be a great fun way to just put some strawberries in there for some Valentine's Day treat. We have a bright red cocoa cherry smoothie. So think about how you might want to just celebrate that day with something simple there. Something else coming up, this could really serve dual purposes with the tortilla chips. So on February 12th is the Super Bowl. Maybe you want to do something leading up to the Super Bowl that week. Or also February 24th being National Tortilla Chip Day. We've all had tortilla chips on our menu. So how can you do something different to highlight that day? We have this buffalo chicken dip. Sounds like Super Bowl to me. And of course would pair well with the tortilla chips. Just want to remind you again, this might be a day to utilize some of the local shag-bart chips that you can order from the What Chefs Want. There's both, I put on here, individual bags, 2-ounce bags, or bulk chips. So that would be a great way to not only celebrate that day, but also add some local foods in there. Just keep in mind, Again, any recipe changes that you want, the best way to get those changes done efficiently is to use our support ticket system, which is as simple as sending an email to support@ppllc.info. Again, any recipe numbers, GFS numbers that you can give to us makes the process go a lot more efficiently. And we can make those changes for you. So try to think, can you pick one of those theme days and highlight them on your menu? We would love pictures of what you're doing so that we can highlight you on our caught doing something good. So I will let talk about that.
I'm coming around the mountain. I'm coming around the mountain. I am excited. You know, they always like me to be the cheerleader because I love cheering you guys on. And today I'm really super proud about something. And I want to share, this is the first year that Pasonic has been able to work with and engage schools that aren't on the National Meals Program. So when I say that, there are a lot of parochial schools within our, region that are very interested in all of the wonderful things they see Pasonic partner schools like you all doing, and have asked us to help them achieve their own programs. And so for those of you who are familiar with the Northeast Ohio area, St. Columbkills is in the Parma school region, and again, saw all the great things Bob Gorman was doing with his school. So they are watching us and very inspired by all that you all are doing. St. Albert the Great is in North Royalton. So we have friends at North Royalton with Harry and his team. And again, the private schools have their eyes on our public school programs, and they're looking mostly to be able to provide a great lunch experience. And so for me, the old Catholic girl that I am, I've been excited to get walking in the halls again, and actually helping some of these schools that are not National Meals schools become applicants and successfully do so. So with the gracious help of ODE, Rebecca Knabb has been awesome. We are helping coach these schools. So if you're in a region that has private schools that have maybe reached out to you and said, hey, how can we work together collaboratively? Let them know that there are great partners around them, including Pasonic, that would be very willing to help start their programs up. So we are, again, most proud of these schools and their parents. This is an example of just the welcome reception these schools are showing us relative to taking the lead of some of what you all do, which is produce bars. And again, we loved at the beginning of the year, we were able to show you the Make It a Rainbow produce bar, reminding you that it is the best and most simple. I think, food is art, right? And we say food is our love language and all of that fun stuff, but food is art. The DoD program, to remind you, we have funds this year for fresh produce that I would challenge all of us to be creative in the utilization of, not only to help offset our budget, which Tina will start talking about KPI here momentarily, but also to just really up the game and the attractiveness of what you are able to show on your demonstrated food bars. And also what we're seeing is the parents really just vibing how important it is that their kids are receiving fresh food items at school. So it's pretty easy. It's not a complex recipe. And we talked to you about recipe development and innovation. And yes, we're going to coach you there and encourage you there as well. This is a simple win, guys. And so I just want to remind you that something as simple as a fresh produce bar, leveraging DoD funds, is something that if you haven't yet utilized, we have 4 different recipes within Pasonic Partners already built. We've piloted them thanks to Amy Voigt at Brecksville. My little one, who's a scrutinous little consumer every day in that cafeteria, gives me feedback. They rotate all 4 of our bars. So the first one you're seeing here, obviously, is an example of our Eat the Rainbow produce bar. And that Eat the Rainbow produce bar is easy as what you see here. It's just putting it in the right red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple order, and making it visually appealing with offering choice to students. If you are curious, how does that become part of a bar and a reimbursable meal? We're here to coach you. There are great production records that help you really navigate produce bars. And there's also ways and wayfinding that you can use on your sneeze guards and in your lines to help students understand that they're able to take a half cup of that produce to meet that half cup requirement for offer versus serve. So it's been a really cool thing to kind of, again, start from scratch. I feel like I'm learning or teaching a new language when I go to a school that's never done offer versus serve. And if these schools and their kids are getting it, your kids can too. So if you haven't thought about, post-pandemic, I know during the pandemic, we packaged everything and lit it and wrapped, and it created a lot of time. And so when we offer you a suggestion, we try to really think through how doable is it? We don't just think there's not a dartboard for the menu, and there's certainly not our goal to inspire something that would cause a lot of work. So what we want to be able to do is match where your staffing is and where your infrastructure is. And remember, there are equipment grants. There are great resources through Cambro. And if you're on the HPS bid, Anna Hutchinson, really quick, I'm getting you the right Cambro offerings that are available to have a very easy salad or produce bar cart brought to your school. So with more about that, we have the three other ones are Growing with Greens. So I'd like to challenge you. We have a semester left. Growing with Greens is a great bar to make that cafeteria an extension of the classroom. And so one of the things about Growing with Greens is we are using green vegetables and green smoothies and different dressings like Green Goddess to create opportunities for kids to explore the world of green vegetables. We often say, you have to try it multiple times before kids start to eat it and like it. So Growing with Greens is one of our attempts at really connecting that message of what that can do for your body, how it can help you grow and learn. And all of us know kids love ranch, and the Green Goddess is just like a little one-off of ranch. So it's a fun way to expand their palate and try new things. So I think that's one to think about. Variety is the spice of life, I will remind you, is our produce bar that is focused on the ability for us to use non-sodium flavors in fresh herbs. And as we get to spring, that's a lot, like a lot of us have in our own personal homes, we'll add basil to like a tomato basil salad. And that pop of basil really allows you not to be heavy on the sodium. We know it's coming, and if it's not here, it will be. Our goal is to really continue to entice flavor without having excessive sodium and processed ingredients in our menu. So that Variety is a Spice of Life shows you produce bar with ideas on how to integrate and use fresh herbs to really make that pop happen in very economical ways. And I'm drawing a blank on the last one. Anybody help me in the room here? Growing with Greens, Eat the Rainbow, Varieties. Go local for local. How can I forget that? It's good to have a team around you, even though you can't see them right now. The Go Local with Local is our ability for, if you haven't yet, one of the other things caught doing something good with our Catholic school program startups is they are on the OSC bid, and they are leveraging a lot of what you saw on those bars through Creation Gardens. And so for those that know, the Ohio School Council bid, Creation Gardens is the award-winning logistics. So they do help us piggyback with Gordon Food Service. Their minimum is not a lot, 100, 150, 100. So it is really, if you're a small school, it's not impossible to meet that $100 threshold. And when the products are in season and in stock, they are giving you what's local and nearest to us. So if you want and desire a sustainable focus for spring, or you want to start talking about carbon footprint. Now, when I was a food service director, every year I would get a petition about stopping using styrofoam, or why don't we have more local? So if you have that ability to win that conversation, help us help you proactively use local ingredients and talk about food miles and the farmer and meet the farmer. So, I always say, tips and tricks. Feed Our Future, again, has the trading player cards, which are the farmers that look like little baseball cards associated with those items that are on the Creation Gardens bid. So lots of easy tricks of the trade, simple produce, affordable produce through DOD and our local bid. Just wanted to remind you that if we can start up a school from brand new and they're doing that sort of stuff, I want to challenge you to think about what do your produce offerings look like, okay? So as we move forward, I think the other caught doing something good are the survivors. And so I know we have Miss Marcia always on our calls and emails of gratitude from her and her team. Of course, they knocked it out of the park. Who thought they wouldn't? But, Marcia keeps warning that she's going to retire, and then she keeps getting more and more administrative reviews, but passing them with flying colors. So again, Gina talked a little bit about it. Doesn't have to be your review year in order for you to tidy up those processes like your checklists. Like simple things, having your civil rights posters up, having your menu of the day up, little things that I think when we got into the wild west of our pandemic feeding, we kind of flew by the wayside, and now we're kind of tightening up some of those items. wellness policy. If you don't have one or haven't seen one and you had meetings with your wellness committee, even just the board adoption, everything you would be looking for your review is something we would encourage you to take the gold star schools like our Jackson and Plain Local. Of course, Genrex, again, another person like who wouldn't think she would not pass it with flying colors, probably teach the audits at this point in her career. But we definitely want to make sure we give you all kudos, because we know coming out of the pandemic and cleaning up the house before company comes is always a project. So congrats to our teams at Jackson and Plain for their successful administrative reviews. Who else are we catching doing something good? Oh, well, we're going to do something good here in a minute, which is talk to Tina about KPI. So I am going to pass it to Tina to talk a little bit about all those fun ideas on how to keep the numbers right. So Tina, take it away.
Happy New Year, everyone. Of course, they get all the fun things. Unfortunately, I'm talking money. New Year, let's think about what we're gonna do with our budgets. We're gonna talk about menu matrix today. So we've got our new year. We've done two periods of our lunch menus. Let's see what we're gonna do. What's working, what's not. Best way to figure this out is to go through your menu matrix. It's a great little tool to have in your background. Pull it out, see what's working, what's not. So on the next slide is kind of an example of what a menu matrix is. We have our stars, our plow horses, our dogs, and our puzzles, and they're just kind of little gitchy names, kind of give you what it is. So we all love our star days. How can we duplicate it? A star day is very popular with the students, very productive, very profitable as well. So these are we'd love to have 20 star days in a month, but isn't going to happen. We know children, if we ever figure out what they want on a menu, I think the world will come to an end. So to keep them all there 20 days, it's not going to happen. So we're going to have some of these days every once in a while, maybe a plow horse. It's popular, but not so profitable. So these are days we know that kids love them, like a Philly cheesesteak day. Great item. Kids love them. They love to get to pick what they want on them. They're a little costly. So how can we make them a little more affordable in our districts? And as Maureen was just talking about, we're talking about going local, getting all these creation gardens. Profitable way. It's a little more expensive when we buy local, but here's the thing. We all have the supply chain costs coming here, this money that's coming in. Let's earmark it, put it aside. We know it has to be used kind of on a local or minimal processed items. Put that money and earmark this next set of money. You get all creation gardens, all your local produce, all your local items. And now that's going to make your plow horse work a little bit better for your district. It's going to make it a little cheaper, a little more affordable, and the kids are going to love it. Then we get these puzzle days. How do we make them popular? Yes, they're profitable. Sloppy Joes. I mean, come on. We all know, not the most expensive thing to get on our menus. But yet the kids, it's a hit or miss. How can we make those Sloppy Joes on a bun? We're looking at old school. Kids are always advancing, developing their tastes and everything. How do we make these Sloppy Joes now popular as they are profitable? Maybe we put them over tater tots, as Marge was just talking to us about our tater tot day coming up in February. So maybe we put Sloppy Joes over tater tots and try something different. Take it out of the bun, put it somewhere else. And then we have our dog days. Unfortunately, dog days, that's one of those things that we all have one on our menu. Everybody does. There's one dog day on everybody's menu. What are we going to do with these? Is this worth even keeping on our menu? I mean, sometimes our staff members love the dog days because it's not as busy and it's a little easier. Have that day that it's not as popular. Hey, let's take a step back. But it's not also as profitable either. So how do we get this working? Maybe we take the dog days off. Maybe we look over our star days again and see here's a great option, star days, Bosco sticks, pizza, chicken nuggets. These are the things these kids are coming in, breakfast for lunch. These are the things. How can we make those and change them and make them take the place of one of our dog days and bring it up? And where's our goal to set? Hey, how are we going to get all stars on our menus? And like I said, it is doable. So let's try that. We also have, as we're looking into our money, KPIs. Right now we should be looking at our numbers. I was very pleased when I went back and looked at my Woodridge ones, that not doing as bad as I thought. I thought with the cost of groceries right now, everything is out the roof. We've seen the increase in everything. In the paper products, everything is going. And I know I was looking at it thinking there's no way I'm not losing my butt off. So here's the way, what are we doing? Start looking at your numbers. And we wanted to get up here. Our wonderful friends at Hudson have a great KPI analysis tool that we will stick out. We will send to you guys so you can kind of see an example of it. Kind of showing how are we looking at our numbers. How do we put our numbers in from 2019, 2020, 21? Let's compare these numbers. It's the only way we're going to survive. We never want to look backwards. We don't want to go back. So how are we going to make these numbers post-pandemic increase? We knew when we hit the post-pandemic, and we got rid of universal free feeding, our production and our participation dropped a little. So how do we get those numbers back up? This is the perfect analysis tool for you guys to kind of look at it and see how you've compared from year to year and say, okay, what do we do now? If this is the case, if our participation has dropped, maybe we use that menu matrix and pull out some of these different ideas we've got in our back pockets. Hey, let's pull this up. Let's put the loaded tater tots on. Let's take off, sloppy joes and add them on to throwing them over some tater tots. How can we let's make homemade pizzas. Again, another way to use that supply chain assistance that we're getting, get your doughs from Dogo's. Perfect example, and you're bringing it local. It's not costing you anything because they're giving that money to you. So it's off to the side. And it's earmarked specifically for local products. So there are ways out there. So if you need any kind of questions, any help with anything that you're doing, KPI, know where your numbers are. I mean, that's one of the key things we always tell everybody, know your numbers. And right now we really need to know them with the cost of everything going up. So I think I'm going to pass it off to Maureen next in our call to action.
All right. If you guys could see what's going on with the walking around, it's kind of funny. But everybody didn't want to be in front of you guys the whole time. So I'm calling my team out, but we are having fun here in this beautiful studio. And when I say it takes a village, you all know I say we can't give good service unless we get good service. And so again, just in a bunch of gratitude goes out to the team that has always supported our success. And that includes Mike Sandridge and the family at Sandridge, which it really is a family. And I feel like I'm in somebody's home kitchen here. So what we're going to do before we talk about the mystery chef is talk a little bit about some of the things in the industry that help us be successful. And so if you guys are looking at theme days that are easy, we gave you some recipe ideas. Don't forget to remember to look at those emails that come through for promotions. And so this is one that we've seen happen to help a lot of schools that really just want something in a bag that's easy to grab and go or add to a lunch without having to add a lot of labor. And so this is the, everybody knows these Dick and Jane cookies. So President's Day is coming. And they have the ability for you to order those and put those and theme those on your menu. Again, if you're interested in theming something on your menu, that same support at ppllc.com where you put in your requests. So like cookie dough hummus, dippable with these fun little cookies. We would be able to change that on your My School menus and actually show an image so that your families are able to see that as a treat. And so when we talk about dog days and puzzles, one of my favorite ways is when you add something like a cookie, boy, those days become plow horses for you when you get more kids wanting to participate because a cookie or a treat comes on that meal. And so we do that sometimes, and this is a great example of something that's easy without having to add a lot of trouble to your menu for that. Healthier generation. So we talked, again, I'm going to kind of just be biased, but with my little one eating lunch every day at Barksville Broadview schools, I know Amy Boyd is running a program that not only cares about what the food looks like, but that it goes above and beyond with her produce bars. And the examples that I shared with you earlier, healthier generation, we at one time, when I was a food service director, I always lean back into that time fondly in memories of being able to apply for like the Healthier US School Challenge. So that was one of the reasons Pasonic Partners even exists, because that award allowed me to leverage what we were doing with our recipes and be awarded and then share that. We aren't competitive restaurants. So the ability to share that award and to be able to share what we were doing with all of you is really how this practice was born. And I would call you all to action to do the same. For those of you who have stellar programs, the best way to share that love to your fellow school nutrition professionals is to apply for something like this Healthier Generation Award. They do a great job of really amplifying not only the local conversation here in Ohio, but the national conversation on programs that are really doing a really good job, not only by feeding kids, but encouraging, making the cafeteria an extension of the classroom, and really the value that school nutrition brings. You know, kids are not going to learn if they're not fed well, and we all play a huge role in that every day. We are also our own best kept secrets. So the call to action today really is to consider looking at the healthier generation. Nominate yourself. Don't be too modest to do that if you feel like you are in a place that you want to share, because by becoming an award-winning school, you become a school that's really showing a best practice that then is shared out to the world. So don't be shy and think it's, you know, don't be too shy or humble to be able to nominate yourself. If you know a school or your kids attend a school that really goes above and beyond, what better way to sing the praises of the unsung heroes in our cafeterias than to see some Northeast Ohio and Ohio schools win this award? So nominate a school if you know one, or nominate yourself, because I think it's really important for us all to really share our best practices. And this is one great way I will call you to action to do so. Again, breakfast is coming, and I just got an email. I don't know if you guys got Michelle Verdell's email this morning, but everybody at SNIC, including Jessica Shelley, who was a Gold Fame award-winning recipient at the after parties, was talking about Super Bakery donuts. So, you know, it's only at school nutrition industry conferences at, you know, at the after party do you talk about donuts, but hey, there are some new products available. If you haven't thought about ways to jazz up your breakfast program, again, lean into, open those emails. I know our email boxes get inundated, but our industry partners do such a great job of really trying to go to bat for us and bring innovative products. And the only way we can thank them is order that, you know, so put it on the menu and order it, because they've done a real hard diligence to be able to continue in this strained economy and supply chain to kind of innovate and push for new products. So I'm definitely curious to see who's going to be caught doing something good for school breakfast week. And I'm going to bet that anybody who tries to do some fun smoothies, which, you know, you saw how you can do soup and global recipe in Healthy Pro with Marge today. We have a ton of smoothies. We've worked with American Dairy Association. They have smoothies that they're promoting for a smoothie slurp event through ODE. But smoothies really have one of those abilities to like get everybody excited about perhaps breakfast if they're not in your school. So I would be thinking about some combination of doing something where you're adding some color, some flavor, maybe using some of that local produce that, you know, once it's past its prime, it freezes well, like a banana and any of the fruit, and it can turn into something really fun, flavorful, colorful, and really excite your breakfast program. So if you are not thinking about breakfast, you should be in general, but this is a week you can celebrate some new ideas and concepts, and we encourage you to do that. So I know we are running through this today, but without further ado, we are going to invite some very special Team Pasonic family members to the table, around the table discussion. So I am going to introduce many of you who know well, Keith Amos. He is our host for the day in his beautiful home kitchen here. And then also Holly McGarry. So many of you know Holly. She is like a soul sister forever. So Holly has, not only is she just another fellow nerdy dietitian like I am, but we met early on and have sat at tables across one another and say, hey, what's new? What are you doing at Land O'Lakes? What are you doing at Tyson? Wherever she was in her life as a broker, we innovated recipes based on partnerships with good companions like the both of you. So we, in true fashion, drum roll, have asked you all to participate, and I talked to you guys about our cookbook, which I know we didn't really talk a ton about. We will be sending out in the post notes ways to find out more information, but stay tuned at pasonicpartners.com for your ordering your book if you want to, or the digital release. This is a little bit kind of beginning with the end in mind. So we're beginning January 2023 by inviting some guest chefs to the table, to the authorship of some recipes that we can share out with all of you. So thank you to these brave souls for the first ever mystery chef competition. I know Keith and I talked a little bit about it when we were together in December. They've done this in the healthcare side.
several times, yeah.
And it really, it was great.
It's fantastic. It's a great way for you and your team to come together. It is, we've had tremendous success with it. And I think this is coming up on our 8th time doing it. So,
This was awesome.
yeah.
And so what I'm excited about is, and you can see here, it wasn't limited to only Pasonic partner schools, and we are so grateful that we have some of our teams are Pasonic schools and some are new. So we want to welcome Natalie and her team from Boardman, Mark Chase and Pam Mead, who I think is hiding behind Mark Chase, who is the team for Cuyahoga Heights. Diana Hill, always chefing it up over there in Fairview Park. We have Jackson Local, we have Erica and Maureen, so they are tag teaming. So again, this is a wonderful opportunity to see, I think they're in 2 different kitchens, correct? So they're from 2 different kitchens, so it's not just limited to like 1 kitchen. So this is a good way to bring your district kitchens together. Andrew Mendez contacted us and said, hey, I have an intern. Would you be willing to let a student be a guest chef, a mystery chef with us? Why, yes, of course. We love intern mentorship. We love the opportunity for all of us to be able to get together and get new ideas. And I always say from the younger, I'm feeling a little old sometimes these days. So with, some of these I want this intern to come out with something like everybody's going to want to do. We have Plain Local, again, thanks to always the support of Plain Local and Jackson Local, have just been with us for a long time, and Amanda's going to do great stuff, I know. Stone Falls, again, new last year to Pasonic, but kicking butt. I mean, Jill is kicking butt there, and she is ready to put her name in for the winner of the Mystery Chef. I would be remiss if I didn't say Jess Stone, just because she's Jess Stone, and we've talked about how well, I'm waiting for what costume Jess's team is going to wear to share their recipe, because they are the queens of like theming it up. And so the idea is the recipe, but also the presentation. So we're super excited about that. Lauren Bush from Upper Sandusky, and we're missing one. I don't know if it fell off on the bullet, but we are having Karen McClintock from my very own Talmadge City Schools middle school and joining us in this mystery chef. So what do you guys think about mystery chef? Should we show them what's in the box? All right. So this is exciting stuff. So these are products that all of these teams are going to be charged with taking some liberties with. And so we thought today, since all of these lovely participants received their boxes, kind of talk through the process a little bit. So we will be showing you these items that the schools will have 1 week. So from today until next midweek, they are going to create a recipe, and then they are going to present to our panel of judges, our esteemed panel of judges from industry and otherwise, so that we can see what they're creating, create a standardized recipe to share out with you, and then announce some winners. So I'm excited for the village to help share the content. So
All right.
take it away.
Yep, I'll start off. Going to go back and forth.
Sure.
Yeah. So the first item in our bag is our smoky poblano cheese soup. I'll go ahead and lay this down. Everything's going to be on the camera, but Bob, let's hear. He's going to trade over.
And then I've got Brussels sprouts,
Who doesn't love a green?
right?
Next, we have some basic American potato pearls.
And I've got a kale salad.
I think I'm getting all the good stuff. Herb tomato bits.
Greens. And then I've got the super slaw.
I really got to be here. This is our cauliflower mashed potatoes. Yep. Maybe.
Ooh.
Yep.
And we've got our quinoa. Yum.
It does feel like we have a dietitian back.
Next, we have our fully cooked bow tie pasta,
And our
chili lime.
chili lime rice.
Are you done?
Nope, I've got sauces.
Oh, okay. You do have more than
I
that.
do have more than that.
Here, I have some avocados, some fresh avocados.
And I've got a blackberry Dijon sauce.
You want to do the next sauce?
Yeah. A habanero sauce.
And my last item in the bag is our sous vide grilled chicken breasts.
And then I've got cranberry relish. And an everything seasoning. So that is all.
And it's empty. But
It's
boy, look at all of this great stuff here. So when you say you don't have time to cook something, first of all, I'm an avocado gal. Look at how easy these avocados look. Pasta, the bane of our existence sometimes to keep fresh. Kids love, talk about something that's a good, fun, exciting addition to a pasta bar or something that's a bow tie shape. Everybody's using everything seasoning, so we should be too, even though we have to be careful with sodium, that is so impactful and flavorful.
Yeah.
I know my little one likes, I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but like that's a good toast in the morning. And then I love the idea that we have some different flavors and spices. So I think one of the things that we know is we can't be boring with our recipe innovation. And so we are so excited that this lovely group of all kinds of good things is in the hands of those team members. But I will say we are going to send a list of these items in our post wrap up so that you all can see if you didn't sign up this time for Mystery Chef. Number one, we want to see if you're interested in future perhaps editions, but also feel free to create right alongside us and send us your pictures so that we can put you in the cot doing something good, even if you're not part of the competition. So the competition will be judged Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we will reveal the winner. So if you are with us next February 15th is our next What's Up Wednesday live. My goal is to really prepare the winning dish. Do you think we can do it?
I think we could.
All right, so we are going to be back here with our friends at Sandridge, and we are going to be preparing the winning dish. And so if the winner is able to join us, that will be even a bigger bonus because we'll just keep adding to the family. If not, Pasonic team will be right back here, really showing you again what the Mystery Chef competition is all about, what it came about, how we got all of the great, wonderful different options and varieties with this. I can't wait.
Yeah, I would say too, one thing that we've noticed is this is hopefully everybody has a lot of fun with this. I know you mentioned TikTok. We have watched people do these from the very beginning to the end, opening up the box, music to it, dancing, all kind of fun stuff. So please really have at it.
Yeah, so we did put in the challenge request, this acronym, and I will give Tony Starbuck from Stop Food Waste in Hamilton County in Southern Ohio the credit for this, but the acronym was FAVES. And so somebody help me here. Favorite, it's got to be flavorful, it's got to be accessible, it's got to be, we have an acronym, and I'm going to have versatile, and then it's got to be, I know sustainable is the end because yes, so edible, right? We can to be something that we can turn into a fave in your cafeteria. We talked about our meal metrics. What a good way to say, hey, this was a fave recipe and it won. So we will drop the acronym into the chat so you guys have it as well, and we'll send it in the post-up notes. We'll send the information about these products in case you want to play alongside our chefs. And then we will be happy to kind of converge back in February to give you what a better month, the love language of food in the month of day after Valentine's Day. So it'll be a really nice celebration to be able to share with you what our mystery chefs have come up with. Again,
Question from a chef.
oh, question from a chef. Let's take
Can
it.
you use any other items like spices?
Okay, Natalie, you're like tuned in. I love it. Natalie's like, yes, I'm winning this competition. And what a good way to involve your students and have press and try days and stuff. Anyway, I know Natalie's going to knock it out of the park. Yes, there is a par list of things that we know that are typically in every cafeteria. And
in your inbox at 2:30 today.
in your inbox at 2:30 today. So I mean, I like at the peanut gallery. Helping me give you the answer, Natalie, but there at 2:30 today, you will get a list of what we would call standard par level pantry items that every kitchen should kind of have in their kitchen. Again, the goal here is to make sure that we love this recipe, not only as adults having fun with this, but the idea that this will be something that maybe we can all share with each other and use on our school's menus. So great question though, Natalie, and I'm super excited and grateful for your participation in this. Any other questions? I don't have much left to talk about other than the fact that, again, I really appreciate you all being here. I appreciate, and I hope you all do, how supportive our brokers and our village that surrounds and gives us love for Pasonic Partners and you all to make our jobs easier. And so I think I'm looking forward to a 2023 that not only ends, the first semester, but starts the second semester with a great school year, but also starts to inspire us about summer feeding, right? So the resources that I have here for you are two summer feeding events. The first is, if you are doing summer feeding, ODE is doing a summer feeding event on February the 6th. registration was sent into your inbox from the items of interest. We will also include it just because we think it's great that ODE is doing something in person and we can all, we know we go to conferences and we learn a lot at conferences, but we learn a lot from each other. And networking together, I think, is a really good positive way to say, hey, what's gone well on summer feeding? And I know that might inspire some of what grilled chicken and avocado and salads have, even on this mystery chef. The other opportunity is a virtual one. So if you're unable to go down on February 6th to ODE, FRAC, which is an organization sponsoring and supporting nutrition as well at the national level, is hosting a virtual summit for high quality summer meals on January 6th. We will drop a link in registration in that follow-up document for you all to look at that as well. And so that's a national look at what schools are doing that are running successful breakfast programs and lunch programs in the summer months. So we're excited not only to start inspiring our mystery chefs, but thinking a little bit about, it's already January 2023 and like almost done.
Yes.
So by the time, you all start putting your menu thinking caps on for summer, we're already going to be thinking about projecting and working with our teams about what your cycle menus are going to be for next year. And so getting ready for summer for me, for those schools that aren't offering summer feeding, doesn't mean you're off the hook. It means it's really a great time in the spring to start thinking about your menu cycle in partnership with new products, new ideas, but also projections, right? So we know that, having a good conversation with your team, your family, like Holly, I'll call her and say, hey, talk to me about commodities, talk to me about some recipes. And again, I know we get inundated with emails, but our industry partners right now, having just come out of attending some of the mini after events at SNIC, I wasn't able to actually attend the conferencing. Just it reminded me of how important it is to lean into your family of support in the industry. We can't do it all ourselves, and that involves that whole menu matrix of kind of you doing some homework, taking a look at what's going well on your menu, what's not, and then really knowing you're not alone in the efforts to improve and innovate. Our team, our cookbook is here for you. We have culinary training days called Food for Thought. We're willing to come in and help you. And I know the broker and manufacturer world has our back. So any words of 2023 wisdom from your lens, from Sandridge or from your team?
Oh, no, I mean, again, just to reiterate, please reach out if there's something we can do. I know we're talking a lot of commodities right now. I work with ODE a lot on that stuff as well. And start, with bids and menu planning. I mean, before we know it, it'll be summer and we'll be, right kind of back at it again. So if we can help in any way, please always feel free to reach out, email, cell phone, whatever's best. But yes, we are here to help support.
Yeah. And I would say, don't be afraid to ask for help. That everybody's here. That's what we're here for. We all love this. We all want to help you succeed. So anything we can do, please feel free to reach out.
Mm-hmm. I love the mix of quality and convenience on this table. And I think one of the things I will commend both of you are, we all dream of like scratch cooking and whole foods and recipes, but where the rubber meets the road is being able to find good partners where you can feel just as good about the quality and still feel good about inspiring your team without overwhelming them. So when I look across this opportunity table here, I see things that, like, even just myself as a dietitian, I love quinoa for the sake of its nutrition and its high protein and an alternative grain. But boy, is it a pain in the butt to cook from scratch. So I love that. I mean, that's one of my favorite sandwich products. And certainly, when we all start our New Year's resolutions, we talk about, I'm going to have more salads. I'm going to eat healthfully. That's not as fun when you have to cut and chop and cut and shave. Those blends up there make, I am a cheater like that all the time. Having like a cheaty, already pre-cut up and just adding some extra flair to it is generally what makes me have more success eating salads. So when you think about, you want to do some things to lighten up your menu come spring into summer, you don't have to chop a gazillion items when you have some of these really nice blends in front of you. So I'm excited about the ingredients. I think whatever's going to come is going to be a magnificent inspiration to everybody. So any other questions in the chat box from the team? I'm going to invite my team to come out and say one more time. Just you can see it takes a village. Come on out, team, and say goodbye to everybody. We never, again, it's interesting to be in the post-pandemic world and kind of hybrid and sometimes together and sometimes not together. The first time I got to come see this kitchen, I said, when you guys come and see this kitchen, you're going to love it. But I don't make these types of things happen without the help of everybody, including David, my fearless tech and husband and partner in Pasonic. And of course, our sickie, so I should say a little bit further away, Sarah.
I'm not contagious.
And of course, Marge, Oz behind the curtain, Gina and Tina are tried and true. You know, Tina, I told you guys this before, but Tina came to Pasonic after being a lead in a kitchen and has been so helpful to keeping us real when it comes to this. And I think you're excited about some of this stuff too.
Yeah. I was just sitting here thinking, as I cheated many a times when I was a lead in the kitchen with their soup. I gave it to the staff, and my staff at the soup were always saying, man, could I get that recipe? And I'm going, or did you make that? I did make it. I put it in the store. I didn't tell them I didn't truthfully make it from scratch, but I did make it. And let me tell you, great product.
Yeah, and
So
you just brought up something again. I learn something every day for my team. If you all are thinking, well, this is out of budget for what I want my lunch menu to be for my students, two things. Number one, challenge yourself to look at it differently, because I don't think you'll be very surprised. It's going to be affordable when you blend it with uses of commodities and DoD and time, right? The labor time it takes to create some of these items. But the other piece is some of our schools are going to tiered lunch pricing where you have a more premium lunch price. So if you are at a school where you're really looking at participation being lower than that KPI pre-pandemic, you're not giving away for free anymore. So we got to get our little, savvy connoisseurs back in our cafeterias. Some of these more high-end flavors, when used and cut with menus that balance that a blend of DoD and infrastructure funds and all of the items that we've talked about today to make your menus economical, this really does become a way for you to shine without the sweat, the sweat equity of having to build it. So I love that idea for not only a tiered lunch price, a la carte when you can do that for your adult meals. When your teachers are coming in to get soups and salads that are higher end and talking highly of your program, that all funnels a beautiful trickle of conversation about the value you bring to your school community, and it does get out there. So the other challenge is use some of these fun ideas. I know I'm looking across the recipients. If I were Natalie, and I'm sure she will, she's going to be telling her local media and sharing this with her teachers, that we're all a part of the opportunity to innovate and be together and to really bring some cool stuff happening. We are our own best kept secrets, and we are grateful for opportunities like this to help shine and give you those messages. All right, so I'm going to make one last call because we have a couple minutes to do it. So what is your favorite item and why on this table? And I'll start with Tina and come on down.
I'm going to tell you the pasta. And the reason why is I'm looking at it as we all hate making wheat pasta in the schools. You have to hit it right on. So for me, that is like the perfect thing. You can pair it with your commodity sauce, your commodity fajita meat, and the kids are going to love it. It's going to be their favorite thing on their menu. So
My personal, I would say quinoa, but I'm a quinoa lover just because it's so versatile. You can do so many different things with it. Hot, cold, that's my favorite for sure.
Soup and salad, because I like soup and salad, and if somebody's making the salad for me, it's even better.
I think the habanero sauce would be awesome. Like you can elevate a lot of things with a habanero sauce, twist it up a little bit. So I would love to use that as a palette for some recipes.
Not to beat it, dead horse, the quinoa, the reason I love it is, again, I use it as a quinoa salad, quinoa burgers, quinoa oatmeal, all kind of fun stuff like that to do, so.
Didn't you have a quinoa pancake recipe too?
Yeah,
See, this is why I love this, right?
I would say cilantro lime rice. So I love that as a base, but it's great on salads, on wraps, as part of a veggie burger. It makes a really good binder in that. If you want a completely vegetarian or vegan option for one of your kiddos. So just lots of really cool ways you can use that. You can even put it in your tacos. I love a little bit of that at the bottom of my tacos as well.
I'm a big fan of the smoky poblano. The soup, you can put it on pasta, you can put it on breadsticks, we're gonna put it on top so everybody can see it, and then what was the yeah, that's my favorite.
He dips soft pretzels in.
Yeah.
And you can tell when I cook healthy at the home, what he goes to is the stuff that, he thinks might not be as healthy, but it's delicious. And I'm just gonna say the cheater that I love again are these salad blends. If you are not a salad eater, I challenge you to get some of these chopped blends and really add some versatility, some crunch. So in those salad blends, it's really easy. Personally, I'll add things like nuts for some protein and some crunch, but you can add fun things like, super seeds, anything to that. And then you brought up a good point, which is if you don't want to have too much grain, but you want some grain for that carb and energy, you can add some grain into those salad blends. And it really takes that to a whole different level, let alone putting a little habanero and some of your balsamic. And that would be a little spicy addition with some grilled chicken on top. So my brain just starts going, and I could probably tell you 80 things I would do at this table, but we're going to stop and just thank you for attending, and hopefully you'll attend next week. Hello, that would be crazy. Next week, we'll be having the opportunity to judge our mystery chef contestants. So stay tuned for some exciting announcements. And we look forward to seeing you back here next February 15th, the third Wednesday of every month. For the rest of this semester, we'll be back with you in 2023 to hopefully inspire you and be a part of your journey this year. So thank you so much for attending today.
Thank you.
Thank you.